Okay, and finally, new rule. Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Even the one concession I've heard a few people on the losing side offer, that liberals should stop saying the Trump voters are stupid, comes with a kind of unspoken parentheses. We know they are stupid, just don't say it. Yeah, I got bad news for you. They don't have a monopoly on stupid.
That's political commentator and man I usually disagree with, Bill Maher, telling his audience that the progressive worldview is nothing more than shadows on a cave wall. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like Bill Maher may have struck a hornet's nest by mocking regime media puppets doubling down on their failing narrative after the election, which got political hacks like the Harpies on The View worked up into a frenzy after he shattered their narrative with some hard truths in a recent episode.
A bunch of privileged mean girls complaining about privilege and trying to make fetch happen. What a shocker that the people who see everything through the lens of race and sex see their election loss as a result of racism and sexism. Yes, if only we weren't so irredeemably unenlightened, we would have elected a black president by now. Oh, what, we did? Oh, right, and then re-elected him. Democrats run for office as if the voters don't live here, as if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office, but they do. They live here, and they actually see women and people of color, and it doesn't look like some patriarchal racist nightmare. But a poll last year asked, if America is the greatest country in the world, more blacks and Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic people. It asked if government should increase border security. Same result. Hispanic Americans are less okay with illegal immigration than whitey. The votes are in. They don't want your pity. And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them. Black people, they're just like us.
Now obviously those watching this can easily understand Maher's points because they're rational and based in reality. However, that clearly wasn't the case for the paid propagandists and professional race baiters on The View, one of which who's still reeling from the discovery that her ancestors used to sell and own people.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class? I mean, again, I got my popcorn. I don't know why people did what they did. I see all these reasons, and so, okay, time will tell. But what do y'all think?
I just, I know that as a country, it's very difficult for people to believe that racism and misogyny, they're just alive and well. I think that we don't want to think that about ourselves, our neighbors, our friends, but it's my lived experience tells me that it does still exist, even if your lived experience doesn't tell you that it exists. And, the facts support that. I think we have a graph. If you look at there's a clear racial divide in who voted for Trump as opposed to who voted for Kamala Harris. It's very clear. It's not only clear by race, but it's also clear by education. And so the notion somehow that is not true. This is by education. Those who attended college voted for her at a higher degree than those that didn't.
But I think you're missing his point.
Let me just finish. And so I've said that before, and there was so much backlash because I think it's an uncomfortable, inconvenient truth about this country.
Yeah, well, B, if Bill's right, why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor and professional opportunist who failed her way to the top and flip-flopped on nearly every one of her political positions? It's almost like they think she's dishonest and would say anything to get elected. But of course, that would be totally crazy. Now, to their credit, The View is correct that there are still racists in this country. We know this because they're all employed by The View. I mean, Maher laid out his case pretty clearly. The fear-mongering of progressives isn't matching the lived experience of minority voters, which, as Sunny Hostin just highlighted, seems to be a metric that liberals either view as fallible or infallible, depending on whether or not lived experience supports their political BS. Regardless, there's something to Maher's point because The View is apparently scrambling to find pro-Trump voices for the show. But let me know what you think. Who's right here, The View or Bill Maher? And would you subject yourself to the show if there are more pro-Trump people on. Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!